led through the mist.
After a brief run-in with the woodsman, they discover an old, abandoned-looking house and decide to stay there.
A very pale girl walks in, saying something about her aunt. She tells them to hide because Auntie Whispers is coming. They do, and it turns out that Auntie Whispers is a really big, ugly, monstrous woman. Plot twist, it was actually the girl who was going to kill them and eat them! Wirt and Greg use the bell, which apparently the frog ate, in order to force the spirit to leave Lorna's body forever.
Pretend.
So after the extremely terrifying Chapter 7, what dark, twisted horror has Over the Garden Wall prepared us for this October?
Everything is nice and fine all the time.
Oh. Huh.
So yeah, unfortunately having to catch up on these episodes at once means we get stuck with this in the middle of our Halloween month. It's not ideal, but I guess it's what we gotta do if we want to make it to Chapter 9. So let's do this.
Oh man! I do not remember that being that bad!
Ouch! That was brutal! Ooh, I was not expecting them to pull the Fields train on us like that. Ugh. Okay, so as it turns out, this episode is very dark despite the cute exterior. I feel like I should have been expecting this.
Probably. I let my guard down and I shouldn't have. I regret it. Majorly. Anywho, let's start off with all the cutesy fun times and end with all the horribleness, huh? Leave off on a great note.
As we approach the ending of this miniseries, Over the Garden Wall provides us with 2 episodes that pretty much define the main characters of the show, with this being Greg's defining episode and next time being Wirt's. So of course, we begin with Greg acting silly in the middle of a foggy, creepy lake.
As per usual. So, on the lake, Wirt starts talking really creepily and really bad.
The beast. There must be the beast out there.
He asks Greg if they can stop pretending like they're going to get home. And it's at this scene where you really realize just how hopeless Wirt has become. It's pretty sad, actually. Greg definitely doesn't understand the full meaning of what Wirt's saying. Or, at the very least, if he does understand it, he ignores it. And Greg just keeps on being his weird little self.
Greg insists that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. A phrase that's going to come up throughout this short. Wirt, meanwhile, disagrees and actually blames Greg and his goofy antics for getting them lost in the forest to begin with. He then gives up on trying to get home, which Greg interprets as meaning that it's his turn to lead the way. Wirt falls asleep, and so does Greg, heading off into the one place where anything really is possible when you put your mind to it: dreams.
And it is one weird dream. I mean, he's a little kid, so it's understandable, but still. Anyway, Greg is whisked off to Dreamland by floating heads and flying donkeys. And when he gets there, it's just as cartoonish as you would expect it to be. Talking, walking animals, odd people all about, the usual.
And they really go out of their way to combine the sweet with the strange. Like putting one of the prettiest songs in the show over top of these disembodied angel heads. Or just the entire population of this Cloud City.
So, one of the first people who Greg encounters in Cloud City is the Cloud City Reception Committee, which are 3 cute little guys with clocks on their chests and synchronized voices. Then there's the Auxiliary Reception Committee, who are 3 angels with large horns. Then there's another committee, committee number 3, consisting of a hippo, a giraffe, and a monkey. Then, He's, great, yeah. Really, though, this guy is hilarious. Compared to all of the silliness that's gone on previously to this random, depressing, dark, storm cloudy, rainy guy just popping up out of nowhere amongst all these colorful people is amazing.
Okay, I knew this dream would be cutesy, but wow, we're 1 minute into this dream and we've practically got a Christmas episode on our hands. Cool colors, angels, colorful animals, close-ups of shining stars in the night sky. At this point, all we need is some text saying, "'Tis the season," and we're good.
So, next, Greg leads the band in a song.
Everything is nice and fine all the time.
It's a cute little song, and Greg just basically gets thrown around to all different parts of Cloud City. At the end, though, Greg gets thrown into the North Wind Gate, the gate that you shouldn't open, and lets out the North Wind.
Despite the cutesiness of this song, the dream never quite lets you be comfortable. That's partly because they're using an art style based off of 1920s cartoons, which are themselves kind of creepy in hindsight. And it's also because right as the song is about to reach its high point, they let loose the North Wind, who I can only assume is an absolutely terrifying force to be reckoned with.
The old North Wind. Yes, he is.
Well, that was disappointing.
At least the song they sing about him is cool.
So the old North Wind and his sassy henchmen begin wreaking havoc on Cloud City. It's also revealed that the North Wind is actually the wind outside, which is a very cool touch. Beatrice is in search of Wirt and Greg at the same time as all of this, flying around the forest and shouting for them. She, like an idiot, lands on the very tree they are under, but then gets scared by an owl and flies away. You tried.
After a silly chase scene, Greg defeats the wind and is greeted by Glinda, the Good Witch of the North? She lets Greg have one wish. He wishes for him and Wirt to be sent home, but apparently Wirt can't come because the beast has already taken him. And okay, I didn't think we were going to get into theories and such with this show, but I have to ask, who is this person? How does she show up in people's dreams? And how does she know what's going on? Is she good? Evil? Did the beast make her up? Is this all the work of the beast? What is real?
I have no idea, but what Greg does next breaks my heart. He tells Glinda, the Good Witch of the North, that he's going to let the beast take him instead of Wirt. At least I think that's what he says, because that's what he does afterwards. Wirt wakes up in a panic because his brother isn't there. We see Greg walk off with the beast, Wirt running around frantically and falling into an ice river, and then the episode just ends with Wirt waking up in distress in a boat with a fish and Beatrice. I do not remember this ending being this bad originally. It broke my heart into a million pieces. All aboard the Fields train. Woot woot.
This moment. Wow. Throughout the episode, we see how much Greg wants to just have fun and goof off, and how quickly he gets distracted by random things. It's to the point where the whole episode is pretty much procrastinating, wasting 11 minutes on cute stuff that isn't real, when the audience is still wondering about Beatrice and the Beast. And because Greg is a little kid, he innocently believes that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. But once it becomes clear that that isn't the case, Greg actually sacrifices himself so his brother can be safe. This is what I mean when I say that this episode defines Greg, and it takes a sharp turn into darkness fast. Faster than any other episode. It's very compelling.
This episode definitely did have a very big impact. Not just because it's major character development for Greg and Wirt, but because it shows a dark side of things that we really weren't seeing from Greg before. It's completely new and out of practically nowhere, and it definitely leaves an impression by the time you're done watching the episode. I would give this a 4 out of 5 just because they let it off like that, and they used most of the episode for just random shenanigans. The short ending did definitely make it have more of an impact though, so I suppose that should earn back a little bit of points.
We learn about just how hopeless Wirt has become in this short, but for most of it, Wirt is pretty much made a background character in his own show, who isn't even on screen for a lot of the time, and to a degree that fits with the episode, which is told mostly from Greg's perspective. On some level, Greg doesn't understand Wirt's sadness. It's not out of malice, it's just that he's a little kid, and thinks that anything is possible. He's content to just goof around and daydream, believing that everything will still be okay when he gets back. That being said, once reality hits, the episode suddenly turns from silly to dead serious. And when Wirt's perspective comes back at the end, the effect is really powerful. The more I think about this episode, the more I think it has some of the most multi-layered writing out of all of these shorts. And if you're disappointed at how un-Halloween this video had to be, don't worry. We're going to get super seasonal next time when we talk about Wirt's defining episode.
So thank you one and all for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one. Bye!